The moment my phone lit up with the security app notification, my stomach dropped. The timestamp read 8:47 p.m., and the video playing back on my screen was almost surreal. There on my front porch were my mother-in-law Sandra and my sister-in-law Melissa, practically skipping out the door in sparkling concert outfits, arms swinging, laughter echoing, leaving my 12-year-old daughter Emma alone with 6 children under the age of 7. "They'll be fine," I heard Sandra's voice faintly through the audio. "Emma's so mature for her age. Stop worrying and let's go." I'm not missing the opening act. I gripped my phone, heart pounding. My name is Olivia Parker, and I'm a pediatric nurse working nights at the local children's hospital. Tonight was supposed to be my first shift back after a week off. Sandra had volunteered to watch Emma and my 5-year-old son, Lucas. What I hadn't expected was for her to invite Melissa over with her 4 kids, plus her friend's young daughter, and then abandon them all for a surprise concert. I called Emma immediately. My hands shook as I waited for her to pick up. "Mom," her voice was tight, panicked. "I don't know what to do. And Melissa's twins won't stop fighting, and Lucy keeps crying for her mom." I could hear the chaos erupting. In the background, shrieks, sobbing, and what sounded like a vase or a plate smashing to the floor. Emma was trying to sound brave, but the panic in her voice betrayed her. "Listen to me carefully." "Sweetheart," I said, grabbing my keys and heading toward my supervisor's office. "I'm coming home right now. Just keep everyone in the living room, okay? Put on a movie if you can, but stay together." "But Grandma said they'd be back in an hour," Emma protested weakly. "I'm old enough to handle it." My blood boiled at Sandra's manipulation. She had always criticized my overprotective parenting, comparing Emma to how Melissa had been raised. When Melissa was 12, she was practically running the household. Sandra would often remind me, conveniently ignoring the years of therapy Melissa needed later. "This isn't your responsibility, Emma," I said firmly. "They had no right to put you in this position." Thankfully, my supervisor, Beth, understood the emergency, and 20 minutes later, I burst through my front door to find absolute chaos. Emma was desperately trying to separate Melissa's 6-year-old twins who were yanking each other's hair. Lucas was crouched under the dining room table, hands over his ears. 4-year-old Lucy, Melissa's friend's daughter, was curled up in a corner, crying for her mom, while Melissa's youngest, 3-year-old Jack, had discovered the art supplies and was gleefully painting the walls in every color imaginable. "I'm so sorry, Mom," Emma whispered, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. I tried to stop him, but then the twins started fighting, and Lucy wouldn't stop crying. I pulled her into a tight hug. "You have nothing to apologize for. This is not your fault." I surveyed the chaos while calling the other children's parents. My phone pinged again. Sandra and Melissa were posting Instagram stories from the concert. Champagne glasses in hand, captions boasting much-needed girls' night. #no regrets. Lucy's mother arrived first, furious. She had been on the phone with her husband, a family law attorney, explaining that her daughter had been left in the care of a 12-year-old. By the time Sandra and Melissa finally stumbled in at midnight, laughing and filming themselves for social media, I was calmly sitting at the kitchen table. All the other children had been picked up, and Emma was asleep, finally relaxed after I had reassured her multiple times that she'd done nothing wrong. "Oh, lighten up," Sandra rolled her eyes. "The kids are fine, aren't they? Emma needs to learn responsibility." I stood slowly. "You mean being responsible for the safety of 7 children? Or being responsible enough to ask parents' permission before abandoning them?" "That kind of responsibility," Melissa snorted, still filming. "God, you're so dramatic." "This is why Emma will grow up sheltered and afraid of everything," I said softly, but with calm authority. I pulled out my phone. "You know what's interesting? I installed security cameras last week. I have footage of you leaving, footage of everything that happened while you were gone, and all your social media posts tonight. I wonder what Child Protective Services would think about this situation." The color drained from their faces as the weight of their actions sank in. But I wasn't finished, not by a long shot. They had no idea what I had planned for them, and by the time I was done, they'd regret ever putting my daughter in that position. The next morning, my phone exploded with texts from Sandra and Melissa, swinging between angry accusations and desperate apologies. "You're completely overreacting," Sandra typed. "I raised 3 children. I know what I'm doing." Melissa was more direct. "Delete those videos now, or you'll regret it." I ignored them both and focused on Emma, still shaken from the previous night. She sat at the breakfast table, pushing her cereal around without eating. "Am I in trouble?" she asked quietly. "Grandma said I should have been able to handle it." I sat down, took her hand, and spoke gently. "Listen carefully. What they did was wrong. Adults who care about you don't put you in dangerous situations or make you responsible for other people's children. They were supposed to protect you, not use you." My thumb buzzed again. Lucy's father, James Harrison, the attorney, texting. "Would you be willing to meet this morning? There are some things we need to discuss." An hour later, I sat in his office as he reviewed the security footage. His expression darkened with each passing second. "This is beyond irresponsible," he finally said. "They left 7 minors, the oldest being 12, without adult supervision. They were drinking at a concert while supposed to be watching children. They even posted evidence of their negligence on social media. This wasn't an emergency. It was planned. What are my options?" I asked. He leaned forward. "Several parents are considering legal action, but there's something else. Your mother-in-law has been posting about babysitting services on local Facebook groups. She's been charging parents to leave their children with your daughter while she supervises. Except, based on this pattern, she isn't actually supervising." My blood ran cold. He turned his screen toward me, showing multiple posts from Sandra advertising experienced childcare at reasonable rates, with comments from local parents eager to hire her. She'd been using Emma as free labor and profiting from it. When I returned home, Sandra was on my doorstep, her earlier bravado replaced with nervous energy. "Let's talk about this reasonably," she began, trying to take control. "I know you're upset, but you're making a big deal out of nothing. Emma needs to learn to be exploited," I interrupted. "To be used as free childcare while you pocket the money? Who told you about that?" She stamed. "Does it matter?" I said calmly. "What matters is that you endangered children and took advantage of my daughter." "It stops now. You can't prove anything," she whispered, voice trembling. I pulled out my phone and played a security clip. Sandra was clearly heard instructing Emma that she needed to earn her keep by watching the younger kids while she ran errands. "I have months of footage," I said evenly. "Every time you left her alone with other people's children. Every time you collected money from parents who thought they were paying for adult supervision. Every single incident. You're going to destroy this family," she hissed. "Over what? A few bad babysitting jobs? Some harmless fun at a concert?" "No," I replied. "You and Melissa destroyed trust in this family when you decided my daughter was your personal babysitting service, when you left 7 children alone so you could go drinking, when you prioritize your social media presence over their safety." I stepped closer, my voice low but firm. "You have until tomorrow to contact every parent you've taken money from and return it to. We'll post a public apology on all Facebook groups where you advertise their services, and you will never ever put Emma in that position again." And if I didn't, she challenged, though her confidence was clearly shaken. I smiled thin. "Every parent gets the security footage. Every local mommy group sees how you really operate, and Child Protective Services gets a very interesting report about your childcare practices." She left without another word, but I knew this wasn't over. Sandra and Melissa had always gotten away with their behavior through manipulation and gaslighting. They wouldn't give up control easily. But this time I had evidence. This time I had other parents on my side, and this time I was ready to protect my daughter no matter what it took. Sandra and Melissa's retaliation came swiftly bivening. They had launched a smear campaign on social media painting me as an unstable, controlling mother who was damaging Emma by being overprotective. "Emma needs strong female role models," Sandra posted alongside photos of herself with my daughter. "Some people are too paramount to let children grow and learn responsibility." What they did expect was for Lucy's mother, Sarah Harrison, to respond with the security footage. From that night, the video of 7 unsupervised children, including Akring, Tobler, and fighting twins, while Sandra and Melissa Posted drunk selfies from the concert spread through local parenting groups like wildfire. The comments were brutal. Who leaves skankids with a 12-year-old? I paid her to touch my kids last month. Was my 6-year-old actually being watched by Akil? Someone needs to report this. Melissa tried damage control, claiming the video was taken out of context, but more parents came forward sharing stories of times they paid Sandra for childcare only to later discover their children had been left with Emma. My phone rang. It was my husband Tom, who was away on a business trip. I just saw mom's post, he said, his voice tight with anger in the video. Why didn't she tell me she was leaving the kids to go to a concert? Because she knew you'd say no, I replied, just like she never told you about using Emma as her personal babysitter for profit. There was a long pause. I'm coming home early. This ends now. The next morning, Sandra and Melissa showed up. You announced, barging in before I could close the door. You've ruined everything, Melissa shrieked, waving her phone. Do yuck know how many angry messages I'm getting? Parents are demanding refunds. That's what happens when you scam people. I said calmly, actions have consequences. Wouldn't scam anyone, Sandra protested. Emma was perfectly capable. She's 12. I cut hair off. She's a child, not your employee. And speaking of employment, how much money did you make from all those bad visiting jobs? Because the labor board might be interested in that. They both went quiet. In the silence, we heard a car door slam. Tom walked in, his face stormy as he looked at his mother and sister. You've seen everything, he said. Quiet. Live videos, the post, the babysitting shim. What were you thinking, Tommy? Sandra started, her voice switching to a wounded tone. Your wife is blowing this out of proportion, you know how dramatique can be. Stopped. Tom's voice was firm. I saw you leave my children alone. I saw you profit from putting my daughter in an impossible situation. No more manipulation, no more excuses. What do you want from us? Melissa asked, finally realizing the gravity of their situation. First, every parent gets refunded. I said every single one. Second, you post a public apology admitting what you did. Third, you stay away from Emma. Unless another adult is present, you can't keep us from seeing her. Sandra protested. Actually, we can, Tom replied, and we will until you prove you can be trusted. Wick right now seems unlikely. After they left, Emma came downstairs. She'd been listening from her room. Our grand and aunt Melissa going to hate me now. She's quietly. Tom knelt beside her. Nos withered. They're angry because they got caught doing something wrong. None of this is your fault. 3 months later, things had changed dramatically. Sandra and Melissa's reputation in the community was shattered. Several parents had filed complaints about the unauthorized childcare operation, and they had to refund thousands of dollars in babysitting fees. More importantly, Emma was flourishing with it. The pressure of being Sandra's unpaid babysitter. She joined the school drama club and made new friends. She was acting like a 12-year-old. So Sandra still occasionally tried to guilt rip us through flying monkeys, claiming we destroyed the family, but the security cameras stayed up and the boundaries stay firm. You know what, Mom? Emma said one evening as we baked cookies together. I used to think I was bad at taking care of kids because I couldn't handle it like Grandma said it should, but now I know it wasn't my job to handle it at all. I hugged her tightly, grateful that she learned this lesson now rather than spending years thinking she wasn't good in awesome times. The hardest part of being a parent isn't protecting your children from strangers, it's protecting them from family members who think their love gives them the right to cause harm.